All right, real quick, Sammi and I just wanted to thank all of you guys for coming out and celebrating with us. We truly couldn't be here without you guys. It's been such a special day, and we just thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. To our vendors, thank all of you. You guys have been so easy to work with, making this process so streamlined. We couldn't appreciate it more. And to my beautiful wife, thank you for all the planning and everything you did while going to grad school and working a full-time job. It's amazing. I love you, and I don't have anything else.
Thank you so much. We so appreciate it, and I just look out here and I see all the people that we love. So thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. It means a lot to us. So thank you. Let's
All right, first of all, for you guys who don't know me, I'm Mitch. I'm Joe's best man, and I'd say one of his best friends, or at least that's what he paid me $20 to say. So, first off, I'd like to compliment Sammi and the beautiful wedding dress. You know, it's the first time I've seen you not wear the pants in the relationship, so that's good. You know, wedding speeches, they're tough to give, but for what I do, I like to picture everybody naked. So, bridesmaids, you're looking great tonight. Joe, it's not that cold in here. Me and Joe have known each other since junior high. That was the first time we met. We played football together. I had the pleasure of warming Joe's bench for him while he was a starter. Once he figured out that I was the best bench warmer for him, we became friends then. We slowly began to hang out and enjoyed activities like hunting and fishing. We got into a little bit of trouble every once in a while too, but I try to give Joe all my tips on hunting and fishing, but I wish I could say it paid off for him. We'll get you that spike this year, don't worry, buddy. Joe got introduced to my parents a little different way than most people do. We got into a little fun one night in Bible study, in high school. Joe decided to drink a little more church wine than everybody else did, and we got back to my house, and my mom came walking down the driveway, and one of my buddies, Peter, Jasmine, wherever you're at, right there, went around the corner with church wine. My mom saw him and says, "All right, boys, give me the beer." And Joe decided to stumble out of the car, and my mom looked at him. He's like, "Is he going to be all right?" And I said, "Yeah, he'll be fine." Without a hesitation, after that, Joe puked on her shoes. Me and Joe ended up going to NDSU together. We ended up rooming together a couple years. Joe went to play baseball there too, but after the first year of his season and gaining the freshman 15, he figured out beer league softball was the way to go for him instead. Joe has always been an athlete when he was growing up. He holds the record at our high school for being the only person to trip over the third baseline when he hit a home run, too. We lived together for 2 years at NDSU for our sophomore and our junior year. One weekend that Joe came up, my parents decided to show up for the weekend, and we were the only people that were there for the time being. And we decided to go have a little fun that night, another church gathering, We got back to our place, and Joe decided, I'm hungry, I'm going to cook some chicken nuggets. I ended up going to bed, and I woke up the next morning, the house smelled like smoke, and I'm like, what the heck is going on in here? And I decided to go in the kitchen, and I found 15 chicken nugget bricks on the stovetop. I go downstairs, I'm like, what the heck did you do last night? He's like, yeah, I passed out when you went to bed, so... In his defense, I did the same thing the next night with the pizza, so... After we had graduation, Joe decided to move back home, and he ended up working concrete for a couple years, the concrete jungle. Joe's always had a good work ethic. He's the only person that I know that can pass out in the front yard and sleep for 4 hours and then get up and pour a concrete slab the next day. Later on down the road, Joe had texted me saying, yeah, I'm seeing this girl now, nice young lady, her name's Sammi. He's like, yeah, I'd like you to come up to Vanelli's to meet her one night. So he said, okay, yeah, no, I'll come meet her. I asked the normal questions to him, like, where'd you meet her? What asylum did you get her out of? I was like, is she actually real? And then we ended up meeting her, and I was like, I had some couple questions for her then. I was like, how much is he paying you? I was like, you sure you like this guy or what? After meeting Sammi, I realized that she was perfect for Joe. Then after a few more times of hanging out, I'm like, she's sticking around, I guess. So we got ourselves a package deal now. Joe, a year and a half later, decided to ask the question which brings us here today. I couldn't be more happy for you guys, and I can't wait to see you guys have a beautiful marriage and watch you eventually have kids one day. I'm not going to babysit for them. So, brings us here today. I'd like to raise a glass, give a toast to the happy couple. I'd like to say one more thing. Joe and Sammi, they're all expecting. You guys all have a good time.
That was a wonderful speech, guys. All right, next on the list, we have Maid of Honor. Jessica would like to say a few words.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming out tonight to celebrate this remarkable couple. It's an honor to be up here standing by their side and sharing in this special evening. My name is Jessica Salo, an old college roommate and friend of Samantha's. So Samantha and I met a little over 8 years ago at the College of St. Scholastica. Our paths crossed a lot the first month or two of college, from sitting next to each other in Dr. Hensley's lifespan psychology class to living on the same dorm room floor. But it took a while for us to form that initial friendship. Samantha had the luck of getting a huge dorm room, complete with its own bathroom and shower. This very quickly came to be one of the hangout spots for the girls on our floor. So I spent the first few weeks of college observing this group and trying to find my way in. I was particularly enthralled by the girl with dark hair who wore interesting pieces like knee-length fur vests or bright green shorts that said Wild Thing on the bottom. I was trying different tactics to get to know her, from complimenting her hair to attempting to start conversations before psych class. None of these attempts led to anything more than acquaintances. Until one day, Samantha mentioned that she had plans to go to a hot air balloon show that weekend. And she invited me to go along. I was so excited to finally hang out with this group in person. I'd creepily watched from a distance. She let me know that she would text me the details, and the hours went by and the days passed. No information. My poor heart. I showed up to class that Monday bummed, but maybe her weekend plans had changed or something disastrous had come up. Nope. She spent the minutes before class informing me how fun and exciting her hot air balloon weekend was. I had basically given up at this point. Clearly, this girl had no interest in a deeper friendship. Until one fateful day, I walked into psych class and something changed. Our professor used to always start class with a music video, usually Coldplay. He would ask us for recommendations, but he never considered those, and we solely watched Coldplay videos 3 times a week. So Viva La Vida is blaring in the background, and I muttered, this would be better if it was One Direction. Samantha's head immediately whipped around, and she looked at me with awe. We spent that class period muttering about how fabulous Harry's hair was and how blue Niall's eyes were, and afterwards she invited me to her famous college dorm room. I found my One Direction concert tee, and she whipped out her 1D body pillow, and we had a dance party to their songs, starting with History. From that moment on, we were the greatest team the world had ever seen. We were inseparable for the remainder of our college years, and we lived together for 3 of them. People warned us not to live with your best friend, but I have so many fond memories from those times, from braving blizzard-like conditions to get McDonald's shakes, to coming to own our first pet together, a betta fish named Floyd, or to reading me children's books in order to practice being an elementary educator. There was never a dull moment with the 2 of us. There are so many things I love about Samantha. She is the most compassionate, loving, and thoughtful person I know. It is an honor to be friends with her. She provides her friends with unconditional love, support, and loyalty. And she has a great sense of humor, but more importantly, she laughs at all my hilarious jokes. So I have a lot of love for this girl. So when she started dropping the name Joe into conversations, I was excited, but also wary. I was thrilled with the idea of her meeting a guy who would treat her the way she deserved to be treated, but I was worried about her getting hurt. The more she talked about him, the more serious I realized this was getting. So I had the sense this was going to be something special, so I saved a message she texted me on October 18th of 2020, just in case a wedding speech ever came to be. So on that day, Samantha texted me, "He's literally the sweetest guy ever. I'm low-key obsessed with him. I never want to say goodbye, and I get sad at the end of our date. It's just nuts, but he gives me all the warm fuzzies. He's so amazing." This message was just 15 days into their dating journey. When I finally got to meet Joe for the first time and see the 2 of them together, it confirmed how special their bond is. Joe truly has the biggest heart, and it is so apparent how much he loves and cares for Samantha. Observing them together throughout these past few years, I've been able to see how genuinely happy they are, and it calmed that initial wariness I had. So it's been an honor to be a part of their special day, and it seems like just yesterday I was sitting in her passenger car seat eating snacks and blasting Elvis, but it's 8 years later and I'm up here rambling for way too long. So I'd like to raise a toast to Samantha and Joe. I pray that your love continues to grow and flourish and that your days are filled with laughter and cat cuddles. Here's to the new Mr. and Mrs. Vicinic.
All right, guys. Next, can we give it up for Maid of Honor Callie? Maid of Honor Callie.
Hi, everybody. I have some big speeches to follow up here, so hold tight with me. My name's Callie, and I have had the privilege of being one of Sammi's matrons of honor. Let me give you a little background about Sammi and I. We first met during our sophomore year of college, on my way to my first ever education class, which was on the very top floor of Tower, which for those of you who went to Scholastica, that's a far hike, right? I tripped and I fell up the stairs. Trying to quickly play it cool and play it off, I turned around to find Sammi and Jess and quickly asked, "So what class are you guys going to?" Sammi and I found we were headed to the same class, and the rest is history. For the remainder of our college career, Sammi and I spent every day together. We then went on to work together for the first 2 years of our teaching careers and on the same first grade team for one of those years. And during that time, she moved in with my husband and I, and for a few months. During these years, Sammi and I did just about everything together. One thing being that we shopped. Way too much. There have been many times that we show up wearing the same thing. If not the exact same, it's the same outfit, just a different color. I swear we share the same brain sometimes, so much so that at Joe's bachelor party, he and my husband Peter said that they are living the same life, just in different places. Now, with all that being said, I've come to learn a lot about Samantha, and as I'm sure everybody else here already knows, Samantha has the absolute best and biggest heart. So when I was racking my brain of eligible guys that I could set her up with, I knew it needed to be someone who not only would treat her well, but who was deserving of unconditional love, and in my head pops Joe. Now, Peter, Mitch already called you out, so I feel like this is a fair moment. For everybody here, my husband Peter likes to claim that he set Joe and Sammi up because he was friends with Joe first, but I'm just going to set the record straight. I set them up. Now in high school, Joe is the guy everyone wanted to be around. He is kind, makes friends with everyone he meets, very thoughtful, and loves to have a good time. So I sent Joe Sammy's Snapchat, and as much as I want to say things were a hit from there, I can't. Because Joe is apparently a really shy guy, and he needs a lot of hand-holding to get here. He had Sammy questioning whether or not he was into her, so I held Joe's hand while he made some moves. Then I set up a double date and held Joe's hand while they had their first kiss in the photo booth. Then I held Joe's hand the night he asked Sammy to be his girlfriend, and then again when he asked Sammy to be his wife. So Joe, I'm here, I'm holding your hand again today, but I can't hold your hand when you guys decide it's time to have babies. With all that being said, I'm so excited for you to take on this next big adventure together. So let's all raise our glasses and toast to the future, to your first home, to the start of your family, and to a life full of love and joy. I love you both. Cheers to Mr. and Mrs. Basinik.
All right, guys, and our final speech of the evening is Sammy's father, Frank, would like to say a few words. Please get up for Frank.
Well, thank you. I got a tough act to follow, but I hope they save the best for last, so we'll see. First, I usually don't like to speak for people. I think I can tonight. What I'd like to say on behalf of Kevin and Beverly, Lisa and Chris, and myself and my wife Kelly, we'd like to thank you all for coming tonight and celebrating this wonderful couple, this beautiful couple, and I know we all wish them well and with lots of love. Sammy asked me probably about a year ago and said, "Dad, you got to give a speech." And I'm thinking, oh, I got to give a speech. Why? Isn't it enough that I got to give you away? You know? And then she said, Dad, you got to work on this because anyone who really knows me thinks that I'm a procrastinator. But I'd like to think I'm a deep thinker. Jake, you know what I mean. Yeah. So I have been thinking about this moment for 26 years. From the day from the day she was born, I knew there was a Joe out there. There was somebody out there. I didn't know it was Joe. I thought I had a nun, but I know that's not true. But as a father, you want the best, and as a parent, as our parents, we want the best for our children. And we talked about this, my parents, my wife, Lisa, and I, and stuff like that. If we could pick somebody, it was Joe. It was Joe. And I learned this a couple ways that I knew Joe was the guy. I used to tease him because he's always going fishing. He tells me all this fish. I go, well, I never get any fish, Joe. And one day he said, well, I'm going to get you some fish. One time he went to Mille Lacs and he caught me a walleye. And he said he kept forgetting to bring it to me. And then finally one day he calls me. He goes, Frank, can we go eat? I need to bring you my fish. And I'm like, well, you could just bring it. We don't have to wait. But I said, yeah, let's go eat. So we decided to meet, and I met him at Portillo's in Woodbury. I remember that. And I was telling a buddy, I said, I think he's going to ask me something about maybe marrying my daughter. And he goes, really? And I go, yeah, I think so. And I said, I'm not going to tell him no. Just to have fun with him, to see what happens. So we get there and we eat, and Joe, and I can tell Joe, we're making small talk, hunting, fishing, and some other things, sports, and Joe's kind of looking down, and I'm like, boy, I don't got a heart to tell this guy, no, look at him. And then, in a way, and then out of, the respect and the thing, and how much he loved my daughter, he asked me for her hand, And at that moment, I knew this is the guy, how much he loves her. And I'm like, as a father, I'm like, you can't ask for anything more, Then the second time was, and I don't know why they asked me for help, but Sammy was trying to decide to go to grad school, and we were going to talk about finances. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm the guy. But anyway, I said, come on over, and Joe and I and you, and we'll break it down. We broke it down. Sammy started to cry. As everyone knows, she wears her emotions on her sleeve. But I watched Joe's reaction, and the way Joe just kind of set his hand down and looked at her. And I said, again, that was my proof. That was how much love he had for her. And I said, he's going to take care of my little girl. And that was the thing that triggered it. So the one thing I want to say too is that, I could tell the love. And part of me as a father and as a parent was like, I don't want to give my daughter up. But then I started thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for this year, Sam, is that'd be selfish because she has so much to share and give. You know what I mean? Because it's going to be, a family. You guys are going to be a family. You're part of our family. And I know love isn't selfish. And it would be selfish of me to say, no, I can't have that. So I say all that to say is that how proud I am of you guys. And Joe, I really know that you're going to take care of my little girl. And that's the most important thing that there is. And your love. And I see that. And remember that, like I said, love isn't selfish. And I know that you guys will always be that way. You know what I mean? And that you love each other. And we'll all be here to support you. So I just want to say thank you for taking care of my little girl. And so, again, thank you. And I've been honored that, you did ask me to say something. And like I said, it's been in the works for 26 years. So just remember that. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming. So, and love you. Okay.